So, ladies and gentlemen, the man you want to speak with, you are going to be busier than Justin Trudeau, I think, in the next now, and I'm sure in the coming weeks. But before we get into who you are and what we're going to talk about today, quick little plug on the series that we're doing here. Entrepreneurs in Quarantine, that's us, ladies and gentlemen. We used to wear suits, and now we sit in our basements unshaven with hats.
Thank you.
Because there's a message to be had here. George Tzicas, thank you for joining me from Group Serpone. George, who are you? What do you do, good sir?
So I'm a licensed insolvency trustee and a chartered insolvency restructuring professional. So what does that mean? We are the licensed individuals who administer personal and corporate bankruptcies, personal proposals, and corporate proposals, bankruptcy protection, CCAA, which is Company Creditors Arrangement Acts. We act as monitors, we act as receivers. So we have a broad scope of things that we do, and it's all connected to insolvency. So insolvency, what's the definition, right? Unable to meet your debts as they become due. So
sure.
That's a big part
so
of
obviously there's a lot of that talk going on now. A lot of people are reaching out to lawyers, and I'm throwing the ball back in your court.
Right.
First of all, tell me about your business, because you and Joanne Serpone have a very robust, vibrant business, very busy, full staff. You guys have been around for a long time. But tell me about the impact of COVID on your business specifically.
So we're a medium-sized insolvency firm. So we're about 17 people. So Joanne and I are the two trustees in the office. We run 4 locations. What we've done, and we did it, we were a little bit ahead of the curve, I guess, before the shutdown took place and the essential services had gone public. Just a quick note, we do consider ourselves essential service because accounting firms are considered essential services. So we are open during the crisis. But what we've done is we've sent everybody home with their laptops or computers. So everybody's working remotely. We're continuing to administer all our files. And we're doing interviews according to the directives that were given to us by the superintendent of bankruptcy, which include allowing us to sign files remotely, which was never allowed in the past.
Yeah, you guys were way ahead of the curve. Like you said, you responded diligently to make sure your staff was protected. So I congratulate you, sir. Amazing. Now let's get into the nitty gritty. People want to know. Businesses, I'm sure, are calling you every day. I've been answering questions for the past week. I've been giving free consultations, trying to help people make sense of this. People have built their dreams over the past 10 years. People have left their jobs. People have invested all their RSPs, have mortgaged their homes, and now they can't even feed their families because there's nothing coming in. And the scariest for them is that rent is coming due April 1st, next week. Tell us about what the conversation you're having with these entrepreneurs and just the general public.
So basically, all my calls are being triaged, right? So I pick up the phone, and depending who's calling, the first thing I try and do is I try and calm everyone down, okay? I try and remind everyone the most important thing is family, staying safe, staying quarantined. And then we try and work out a plan, what we're going to do going forward. So what does that include? That includes creating a budget. That includes, if you're an entrepreneur, you got to figure out what the future is. So a lot of questions are not answered. So we're in a situation now where the future is totally unpredictable.
Yeah.
And, a lot of people are calling us with those concerns. So again, what I do is I try and calm everyone down, and we try and figure out a comprehensive go-forward plan. So, April 1st, I have a retail business. What do? Do I pay? Do I not pay? Communication, guys. Communication is the most important thing. Pick up the phone, call your landlord. Pick up the phone, call your bank. Email your bank. Try and defer. This is the best advice I can give. I don't automatically say, yeah, come and see me next Thursday. We're filing. No, absolutely not.
Yeah.
The goal here is to try. Our mandate as licensed insolvency trustees is restructuring. And there's many ways to do that. There's by using legislation, or there's by doing it informally. So I'm trying to speak to everyone and to inform them that the most important thing right now is to try and communicate with your creditors, because the creditors are in the same situation. This is unprecedented. We've never seen this before, right? So, I mean, basically, that's how I'm dealing with most of the phone calls that are coming in. And there are businesses that are not going to make it past the 13th of April, unfortunately.
So right now you're acting, you're a coach at this point. You're a human, you're a coach. This is basic human emotions and just controlling emotions, because like you said, the future is unknown. Now, what should people start doing to set themselves up where maybe there's a doomsday, maybe things will get better? What happens going forward? When do people call you again, and what options do they have? Either consumer proposal, bankruptcies, corporate or otherwise. What are the options available? When do they come and see you, and when do you file? If.
Okay, so great question. So we got to cut that question in two, right? We got to commercial files, and we got to say consumer files. Okay?
You got it. So let's start with our entrepreneur friends and our commercial files.
Okay, so we got to determine first of all what the plan is going forward. Okay, so you have a business. Let's take retail, because in all honesty, retail is going to be hit. What does retail include, right? Anything storefront. Okay, in my opinion, that's retail. So it's a restaurant or it's a clothing store. Okay, let's just keep it simple. So what's happening? We're behind in rent. It's gonna be mid-April before we can maybe start again, right? We're gonna be behind in rent. So what we have to do is we have to create our list of creditors, and then we got to determine what the cash flow is. Okay, and the ball lies in the court of the entrepreneur. Is he gonna go for it? Did he save for a rainy day? Are we able to go through? Will we be able to access financing? There's a lot of unanswered questions. So what we got to do is we sit down, we figure it out, and if we have to, we could put the company under bankruptcy protection. So we could say, hey, we're filing a notice of intention to file a proposal. We'll put everything on hold, and we're going to determine what our capacity to pay is, and what happens if we don't pay. Okay?
Yes.
That eventually will bring us to a proposal, filing a proposal. So we can buy some time, and then we file a proposal. We can restructure the old debt, and we continue. The other option, of course, unfortunately, is bankruptcy, right? So there are going to be files that are going to be straight up bankruptcies. So what I do when a file comes in and it's a bankruptcy, well, then we got to discuss what the ramifications are personally to the administrators and to the shareholders, of course, the guarantor, if there are any. And then we have to plan accordingly, right? Will they be filing personal proposals too? So a lot of times this can create a domino effect, right? You got to file a bankruptcy for a corporation, and then personally we have to assess the personal situation. So it's a bit of a segue into talking about consumer files. So what are the options in consumer? Well, we have two options. We can either, again, file a proposal. We call that a consumer proposal. Or you can file a straight up bankruptcy, which is always the option. Okay, we never sell, we never push for bankruptcy. We always try and see if we can file a consumer proposal, because when you file a proposal personally, you get to keep your assets. Okay, so you get to hang on to your house, your car, and you make a monthly payment based on your capacity to pay.
Fantastic. I love it. Now,
I know it's a lot of information, right?
No, it's great. I mean, for me, it's list of creditors proposal, and then you go into a bankruptcy if need be. But really, those are going to be the two options available on the consumer and on the commercial side. Now, one thing that's driving entrepreneurs nuts is that the programs that are available on the provincial and federal level are not, hey, take money now and you don't have to pay it back. It's go and get a loan, and we're going to help you get another loan. We're going to help you get another 50 grand, and it's going to be backed by the government. Now, people are scared because they don't want to indebt themselves now because it may get worse. And so I'm sure you're having these conversations, and I can't justify whether or not that's a good business move. What do you say to that? You don't know what and like you said, you don't know what the future has in store for us. So what do you tell people who are like, well, do I borrow now with the hopes that I can pay back? What do you say to that?
Right. So we'll take it back to what I said earlier, right? The first step is communication. Try and defer your rent if you're an entrepreneur. Try and make a deal with your landlord. Try and see, if you can amortize a couple of months over the next year.
Sure.
Then you got to speak with your financial institutions, see if they're going to defer. A lot of them
Sure.
are. There's programs in there. And then again, like you said, borrowing more money, right? So if someone's going to reopen, if they've been closed for 3 weeks or a month, man, you need cash flow, right? Yeah. So Justin Trudeau pumped in a ton of money, and if I'm not mistaken, it's the BDC and it's IQ, Investissement Québec, who are giving out these loans. So I did my research, right? I went on. There's about 100 grand available. That's quite easy to get as an entrepreneur. There's a list of there's a grocery list of stuff that you got to check off, right? Have you been in business for years? You got financial statements, etc. And then when you get to the end, there's a section that says you got to guarantee it personally, and then everybody
does, right? Yeah. And everybody presses delete.
Yeah. So you're totally right, Jamie. Are entrepreneurs going to say, I'm going all in? Pardon the expression. I don't know, and I can't make those decisions for entrepreneurs, and it's so difficult. It's so unknown, and this is brand new for all of us.
That's a great you know what you know, and you're not professing to know anything that the general public doesn't know. But I think it's important to know what your perspective is, because people may and probably will, unfortunately, be coming through your office for the next 6 months. How has your industry changed forever?
My industry, we've never worked from home as insolvency. That's brand new. We as trustees are obliged by law to meet in person and to swear an affidavit and to confirm the identity of the people who are filing. And now we've gotten directives in which I can do an interview like you and I are doing, and then I could send you the paperwork, you could sign it, and then I e-file it, and then your corporation or personally you're under proposal. That's crazy, and we don't know if that's going to continue after. That's something that's interesting. Besides that, honestly, I don't know what's going to change. There's so many unknowns for everything,
And how about you, George? How will this change you when you're out of it? What realizations have you made as a person, as a business owner, that you think will carry forward when the dust settles?
Look, we've always tried to be super human and work with a lot of empathy at our office.
Yeah.
Right?
Great word.
Right. So, we're going to continue doing what we're doing, and what's going to change? We're going to become even more human. I think we're all going to become a little bit.
Yes, sir.
We're going to all become a little bit more gracious, maybe. I don't know. That's a philosophical question. It's a great question.
We're going to be more gray and gracious.
Yeah. But being quarantined, and being home and being with the family and all this going on, it's going to humble us all quite a bit, I think. And life's going to change. Look, let's say everything goes back to normal May 1st, right? We're all hoping, please go back to normal. Something's going to happen, right?
Sure.
And are people gonna say, hey, my birthday party at this restaurant, we're 20 people, let's go? I don't know if they will.
That's right. That's right. It's scary.
Are people going to want to go out right away, or what's going to happen? Is it the pebble in the pond, right? What's going to happen?
You got it.
So
George, I appreciate your time, man. I know, one of the biggest things that I regret and that kind of pains me in all of this is that the hockey season was cut short. Right. You coach the Pierrefonds Marquis, who play against my kids' team, and unfortunately, we won't be able to beat you in the playoffs. So I'm really that for me was a pain.
Yeah, no, that was a lot of fun, let me tell you, and it would have been great, to face off.
George, this has been
fun. Entrepreneur in quarantine.
Entrepreneurs in quarantine, my friend. Really, honestly, great advice. And I said, you know what? Instead of answering all these questions, I don't have the answers, but this guy does. Thank you for your time, brother. Be safe in quarantine, and I'll see you when we're allowed to touch each other.
All right, Jamie. Thank you.
Take care, brother.
Bye.